Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to your Saheli Chat Show. Under the current climate with the COVID-19, I thought it was important just to let you know how we're all dealing with everything and how we're coping. And with me, I have three guests. I have Cam Johal, Bhavna Bharat Pandya, and I also have Bukso Dylan Woolley. So we will just be talking about our coping strategies and with the change of working remotely, etc., how we're all coping and how we're doing our, living our day-to-day lives as well. So my first guest today is Bhavna Pandya Bharat. Hello, Bhavna. Welcome.
Hi, how are you doing, Jess?
I'm brilliant, thank you, and I hope you are too.
I am. Thank you very much for having me on.
How's this COVID-19 affected you and your family life and everything else that we women have to do, Bhavna?
It's to be honest, it's in terms of the day-to-day life, it's not been a massive change. The biggest change has been obviously having my 4.5-year-old at home. He was in the preschool Monday to Friday, and now he's at home. So the homeschooling aspect means that you no longer have that time to work on your business. I'm also self-employed. I run a wedding photography business, which is completely halted at the moment, obviously, with this whole situation. And I also run a Facebook group for female entrepreneurs, which is how we've connected, obviously, and it is called
Absolutely, it's
Successful
fantastic.
Superwomen. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's called
No, it's
Successful
brilliant.
Superwomen. You hear me? I think you can.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So what in terms of our family life, my husband is also self-employed, so we are both at home. We are sharing the childcare and taking time to work on our businesses as and when we can. The group's still going; it's active, and there's 2,800 women in there. So we are trying to provide as much support um, uh, and education and learning in this time as we can. And in terms
It's
of the
even need
weddings,
more. It's even more important now under the current climate, and this
it
is
is.
why you really feel where although we can't do our events as we used to, but this is
Mhm.
really important to get everybody connected, to introduce the audience to some new people, and just to see there's different types of help and different types of opportunities available when you connect.
Absolutely. One of the key things that we have been saying is that there are more people online now than there's ever been before. Everybody is working from home or using the internet for, either whether it's looking for recipes or activities for kids to do or learning packs. But you're also using it to find things that you might have enjoyed doing once, which you no longer do. The amount of people that have taken up crochet or knitting or art, and they're joining groups so that they can learn these techniques and learn to do these hobbies again. So it's very encouraging in that respect, because it's given people that time, which we're always busy, aren't we? We're always like, well, I haven't got time, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it on the weekend. And now we have that
Yeah.
time. And although we don't have although it's one of those situations where you have time but you don't have time. So although I'm at home, I have
Yeah.
time in the sense that I'm at home, I don't really have time to work on my business like I did before. And it's, but managing time accordingly and finding space to do it around the children. I have two boys, two very active, adventurous boys.
Yeah.
So working around it, I've always worked around them anyway. So that's probably one of the reasons why maybe this doesn't have such a huge impact on us, because we've always
Yeah.
worked around the kids. And um, but it's actually, if I dare say so, it's actually quite nice to have the family time, because we're both self-employed, and the hours we work, we probably wouldn't get this summertime or this kind of time together. So it's almost like a blessing in disguise, going, you know what, you've been given this time, so use it wisely, use it positively. And
Absolutely.
we're just you're doing lots of movie nights, and lots of playing in the garden, making homemade Play-Doh and biscuits, and
Brilliant.
so it's, yeah, we're looking at it realistically and positively. And when it's all over, we'll all have a big party and the weddings will continue, you know.
Absolutely. And I always say, this time I want to come out of this lockdown 10% better than I came into this. So it's like
Yeah,
bettering yourself, doing stuff for yourself, because we are never, like you said, going to get this time again. We've never had this time before. I mean, in
absolutely.
my, 54 years, I have never, ever kind of sat like this and done my job as well, full time job, looked after the family, and then try to keep your Saheli alive as well. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
totally
it's
agree.
it's it is a very interesting time because there's two camps, isn't there? There's people who say, well, it's you shouldn't be selling right now, you shouldn't be visible right now, you should be just, it's not it's kind of like it's not a nice thing to do. It's kind of
Yeah,
oh, it's but to be honest, the only way you can keep the economy going and small businesses running is to be buying from them
yeah,
and to keep the businesses
absolutely.
alive. So you need to be visible, probably more than ever. You need to be visible
Absolutely.
now so that when we come out of this and when there is the boom, that our businesses are ready, so that we
Yes,
are prepared. And if you use this time to, I've signed up to three online courses, for instance. So I'm doing online learning in the night, so literally 10 o'clock, 10 to 11 every night. I'm studying for a course. So I'm doing three different
brilliant.
courses, and they're going to take me 6 weeks, you know. But I can do that. I just put my headphones on, I listen to it, I'm doing it. So, like you're saying, the 10% betterment, you want to come out of it and you want to feel like you've still done something. And the thing is, if you don't want to do anything, that's completely fine as well. I mean, you shouldn't feel
Exactly.
obliged to do
No,
it.
no. We're all individuals, and we're all gonna cope with
Yeah.
we all cope with things differently. And I'm a great believer of it's a pattern, isn't it? Because however we deal with any other issues in life, this is how we're going to
Hmm.
deal with this pandemic. And it's just
Absolutely.
our own coping ways. So whatever suits you, do it. And whoever you need to contact, do it, because we've got time. And for me, it's time for my family and friends who I don't usually have so much time for, and also
Hmm.
teaching my youngest daughter Davina how to cook. So she'll always remember, what she learned during this challenge.
And I
And I'm
think
going to go
that's
over to
one of,
Buck.
go on.
I was going to say I'm going to go over to Buxo and just see what her
Hmm.
input is on this. So hi Buxo, and please introduce yourself and just kind of, tell me how you're coping with it all.
So it's a very strange situation at the moment. You have to excuse my voice. I've had this since the 4th of April, so I hope you can hear me clearly enough, which is a shame really because my job involves speaking. I'm an actor and a speaker and confidence coach and mindset mentor. So for me, all the acting world has shut down. All the entertainment industry has shut down. So I am literally doing zero on that front. Yesterday was the first day I attempted a voiceover. So fingers crossed they're happy with it. And this level of speech is going to be okay. But in relation to what's going on now, I just want to go straight in there and say how grateful I am for this to be in my life. I'm so happy to have been given this gift. It's a gift, guys. And we can't see it yet because a lot of us are fear. We're coming from a place of fear right now because we're fearful of where the next money's coming in. And yes, I'm fortunate. My husband has from day one, since we had the twins, I've got 17-year-old twins. He's taking care of the household bills, etc. Self-employed individual, got into the industry 10 years ago. I was quite late in life going into my business and going into being self-employed. So for me, and like you say, Jazz, in the 47 years of me being alive, I've never sat around and done nothing, ever. Even when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis back in 2016, I have never taken it easy because my mind wasn't needing it. I'm quite strong-minded. So I would just do what I needed to do on a day-to-day basis. And for me, this has been a fantastically valuable time for me to take care of my health and sit on that sofa and do absolutely nothing. Because on a day like this,
Perfect.
with the sun shining, I'd be like, oh, I can't sit around doing nothing. I need to go out. Who's free
Absolutely.
for coffee? Who's free for a
And
window shop? Oh, I wonder if I should go.
absolutely.
I'll just walk around there, you know? So this is the time for Shanti. This is the time
It is.
for
It
our
is. And
soul.
but in the mornings, do you find? I don't know. I'm such an early riser, so when I get up in the morning, I love to open my patio doors, and it's so lovely to kind of look in the garden because we're facing the woodland. So you hear all the birds, and you never noticed this like so much before because there was so much pollution, so many cars, and we're not far from the airport either, so there were flights. But there's nothing, and it's so nice, the shanty time, and time to
It's
connect with
there
yourself.
for exactly. And this is what focus got to do. You've got to focus on what is beautiful about this time right now. In 6 months' time, 8 months' time, in a year's time, do you know how many of you, I'll put money on it now, how many of you are going to wish for this time to be back again? And you wish you'd done that. I
Yes,
wish I'd read that book. I wish I'd done that course. Like Bhavna was saying there, I'm also
yeah,
doing online learning. And a lot of people
yes,
are on social media at the minute, taking the mickey
yeah,
by sharing memes, things like, oh, what's this thing that's going around? Oh, if you're not using this time to upscale, then you're wasting a precious moment. Girl, I don't even know how to get up in the morning. Do you know what I mean? It's like people joke about it with these memes, but
yeah,
really,
yeah,
that's all
yes,
fear, deep down fear that somebody else is making the most of a situation that they're scared of. And there's nothing wrong with
absolutely.
that. Every,
No,
that you're triggering something. People are saying you're wasting, I'm just like figuring out how to get through the day, which is also a cry for
yeah,
help. But it's a time to talk to people. It's a time to go and speak
it
to
is.
that person you've been watching for years
Yes,
online on the side and just go and ask them a question. Now is the time that they're going to be the most open they're ever going to be to give you free advice. I mean, I'm giving people 30 minutes free advice. They can get in touch with me and
brilliant.
drop me a line at boxodillon@gmail.com, and I will give them 30 minutes of my time on a Zoom call because I help women to create confident communication to camera. So, as an actor, being able to present yourself on camera, saying the right thing in a short amount of time is a skill. And women have run away from cameras for a long time.
Yeah,
Guys, now is
yeah,
the time. You've got to fall in love with social media. You've got to fall in
yeah,
love with video. You've got to. I'm sorry, you've got to. You're going to get left behind.
ab-
If this comes around
yeah,
again, your business will get
yes,
left behind.
exactly. And like you said, you know what? After all this, we're gonna hope to have something like this at least for 3 weeks every year because I think it's really needed. Because we
I
don't realize
do.
the importance.
I love, I don't, to be honest with you, I'm actually shocked at myself sitting on a sofa without any guilt. And, TV doesn't go on in the day. That's a guarantee. It doesn't go on till after 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Nor
And I
mine.
put the chase on, like I normally do. Get the chase on, get the grey matter going. But in the
Yeah,
meantime, I've never sat in my garden in the 20 years I've lived in this house. I've never laid on the lawn because of the spiders, or I haven't got time for that. I've got better things to do. Oh,
yeah,
it's too windy. Oh, it's too cold. But now I'm going to go out there and lie on the rug with my kids. I've got twins, a boy and a girl,
exactly,
17.
exactly,
Um,
exactly.
so I'm in awe of what
Brilliant.
the
Yeah,
kids are doing today. Oh, geez, for keeping themselves
exactly. I'm
entertained.
like you, but exactly the same as you. Been in this house 7 years, and I never have time to sit in the garden. And that's why I thought today I will. And we've never sat in the garden so much like we have in the last 5 6 weeks. So it's fantastic.
My
And
kids,
just and
I
go
feel like
over to Cam now, my third guest. Hello, Cam, and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. No, thank you for joining us. And I think we're a fantastic foursome, really, because people from different backgrounds and their different inputs on how we're coping with this pandemic. And Cam, over to you. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do and who you are.
Thank you. My name's Cam Johal. We live in Leicestershire. I have 23-year-old twins who I picked up from London just before the lockdown began. So we've had them home after a couple of years because they were away at university, then they worked in London. So it's a bit like winding the clock back in my house about 5 6 years.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. And again, the two ladies that are guests on the show today, reiterating really that it's a great time for family, great time to reconnect, and whether it's forced upon us or not, you can see it as an opportunity, which I think is the best way to look at it. You don't get these kind of opportunities to spend so much time with your family.
No.
But at the same
And
time, I'm aware that things are very difficult for some people as well. They don't always have lovely gardens such as yourselves to sit in, and anxiety and stress and money
Yes,
worries. And,
absolutely.
I was reading, yeah, I think it was last week or the week before, there was the fifth murder of a woman in London through domestic
Yes,
violence.
yes,
So, there's a lot of, under all of the cloud of COVID and all the light you said, the positivity, is some,
yes,
some negativeness going on around. So stress levels are up. So
yes,
so my job is that I am a property mentor and a business mentor. So I spent many, many years in financial services and property. And we had started moving online uh, before COVID came along. So business as it was hasn't really been affected. In fact, we're actually expanding our business because obviously online coaching is all of a sudden seen as the only place to be.
yeah,
So at the same time as that, been trying to lead people to say, look at it positively, and as guests were saying, learn new skills, because when we come out of this, there's going to be a huge economic fallout, not only for our own country but the whole world. And you're going to need skills. You're going to need all the resilience that we can
yes,
muster to get through that situation. The other
absolutely.
thing is that, um, one of the ideas that I came up with was that this is a time when we all need some spirituality and some guidance. But regardless of who
Yeah,
you are, all the gurdwaras, all the mandars, all the masjids and churches are closed.
yeah,
So about 3 weeks ago, I asked permission from our committee at the Gurdwara in Leicester. So we've been live streaming a short service from Facebook on a Sunday.
yeah,
And of course, as some of you will know, it was Vaisakhi last week.
yeah.
So we also broadcast a short Vaisakhi program, and we had over 2,300 people tune in and listen to that.
This is it.
Huge
It's trying to
audience.
keep everything normal, isn't it? Normal as possible.
Yeah. So I kind of locked myself away about a week before the official lockdown came. I left my office, which is here, and for 3 weeks I was at home. But after 3 weeks, I thought, look, I'm at home and I have an office to myself. I've got to get out and do some work, right? So this is, I think, our third week here, my business partner and myself. So we come in, and the commute into work is a quarter of the
Brilliant.
time it usually takes. And we're here on our own. Nobody else is in the building really, apart from the receptionist.
So you have
So
normality in your life, which is good, isn't it?
absolutely. So we're obviously not. I do a lot of meetings, and I'm in London at least once a week. So I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah,
So we've got a lot of time on our hands. So, and again, if you're in business or if you're in a career, it's a great time to review those situations. So we're building a new website for the PPA. We're
exactly.
building a new, yeah.
Yeah. And your
And so,
morning Facebook lives when you were going on your walks were really inspiring. They actually used to inspire me to go and do that as well. Because I too, the first 3 weeks I really struggled. I became really inactive and my mind became a bit numb. And I thought, oh my God, this is no good. And every time my daughter used to come into the kitchen, "Oh, you're not working again. You're not working again." It was just trying to get your head around to it and just kind of, you know, give yourselves that time where you're going to do your work and that time where you're going to take a break and that time where you're going to do something to, for mindfulness. I was speaking with somebody and she was saying to me, she goes, I actually feel like I've been stripped of everything. She goes, you can't drive your car, you can't go to work, you can't go out when you want to. I said, there is a lot of truth in it, but at the end, what it shows us is we don't need so much, do we? We all have so much, like clothing, jewelry, makeup. Like now, look at us today, no makeup, very natural, and it just goes to show less is more, isn't it? And that's what it's teaching me personally. All this because we
yeah,
don't, nothing is serving me at the moment other than the few basics. And simple life is the best life as well. So I honestly do look at it all positively.
brilliant. I think the thing is that the value system has changed, hasn't it? So I think, and thank you for the Facebook compliments. I had so many people message saying thank you so much. And of course, now I'm in my office at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yes.
But we're very active on social media. So as you'll see, the posts go out 2, 3 times a day, just trying to
Yes.
keep people's spirits up. And
Absolutely.
that's really, yeah. And we've
That
got,
is the that is the end result, isn't it? Keeping each other going during these
yeah,
challenging times. And if we can help one person, it's worth it. I mean, look at these key workers. Whatever you say is not enough for them, because look what they're doing. They're risking their lives for us, and all they're asking us is to stay at home to help them.
that's right.
So we've got to take that message on board and pass that on to everybody.
Yeah.
So
So, I think a few weeks ago, I was talking about the fact that your car's now worth nothing because it stood on the drive all day. Your house is worth
yes,
nothing, right? Your wardrobe is worth nothing. Your jewelry is
there's
worth
nothing.
nothing.
Yes,
So the value system changed, and then who would have thought that we'd be clapping for nurses because they're really downtrodden people. They're always underpaid.
yes,
Who would think that you'd be grateful for your bins being collected,
exactly. These people we take
right?
for
So
granted are the people that are most important, aren't they?
absolutely, and I hope that people learn from this experience and take
Yes,
something away from it and
yes,
actually adjust their lives in a better way.
yes.
We moved all of our events online, and so today we've got our first network meeting that we used to do once a month. So we've got
Right?
about 80. Yeah, we've got about 85 people registered for that, and
Wow.
normally we've got about 20, 25 people. Uh, people from Africa, people from India have registered. So there's such positives to being online, isn't there?
It's just, being visible, isn't it? It comes down to that, being visible. I know Bhavna, she does quite a few Facebook Lives as well. And I've got my phone switched on to whenever Bhavna comes on. So I'm always kind of joining her, because Bhavna and I have done some work together as well. And we're wanting to do more because it's our way of giving back and making a difference. And, Bhavna, I, like when I first met you, I was no good at doing Facebook Lives and I wouldn't do them. And Bhavna was the person that first got me on to do that. So I always appreciate that. And it's time to be grateful and show gratitude for what we have got, rather than moan
It's
and
really
complain about.
important. Really
Absolutely.
important because like you said, being visible right now it's never been more important. This is the time you need to be visible. um it's not everyone is comfortable going live, not everyone is comfortable being in front of the camera. I wasn't, and it's something that I've kind of got used to doing. But you are there nurturing the community, like how Cam's saying, people are joining the lives from all over the world and they're looking for that community, because we're all, like, as humans we crave that connection, don't we? We're like, we're just, those kind of beings. We're social beings, so we want company, we want to talk to people, we want to hug people and have that communication. And all of a sudden, like you said, your car's not valuable, your jewelry's not valuable, your clothes, people are in jogging bottoms, um, you know you're wearing loungewear at home, you're just in your casuals, you're in the garden, you know and you're
Exactly.
kind of just going with the flow of whatever you've got around you. And
Exactly.
you're not worrying about, oh, what am I going to do when I come if you're in a 9 to 5, you're like, oh, I've got to commute, then I'm going to go home,
Yes.
got to cook dinner, what am I going to have for dinner today? Or what what's become more valuable is that community. And
Yes.
your family, your community. It's
Yes.
more, it's become more and more heightened than ever before. Now people are
Yes.
realizing that really I should be ringing my parents, I should be ringing my
Yes.
grandparents, I should be ringing, and I should
Absolutely.
be keeping in touch with my friends who might be suffering. So if I've got some friends who have very low self-esteem and their confidence is really low, but they also suffer from depression. And
Yep.
they are either, and some of them are single moms with kids, and when people are on their own and they're pushed into this situation, it's really difficult because you've taken
Absolutely.
everything away from them, right? You kind of you've shoved them into this corner of going, well, you're on your own now. And
It's looking out
mentally,
for them, isn't
it's
it?
absolutely, we've sent, so
Yeah,
I message some of my friends that I know are in this situation every day, just checking in.
I
All I
do.
do is just checking in. Are you okay? Do you need anything?
Absolutely.
And
Ab-
it's
You know,
vital that we do that, because
It
That's
is.
the effect of this. It's going to be when we come out of this, the mental health issues are going to be
Absolutely. They're
like
going to be
off the
massive.
charts.
Even for us normal people, you know, going back to work, normal 9 to 5, that's going to be a struggle. So it's going to be phases back into work, and people are worried about, you know, whether they'll have their jobs at the end of this. There's a lot to deal with. You know, on that note, I'm really sorry, we're almost out of time. It's amazing how quickly the time goes. So I'm just going to come to Cam, just to say any last few words from you, any message for our audience, and then the same to Bakso. Cam, what
Yeah,
message would
look,
you like?
you'll end up with 3 or 4 odd months that you've got this abnormal situation going on in your life. You could come out of this as a new person with a new skill. You could come out closer than ever in your relationships with your family. You could have a new business that you've started. You could be fitter. You could lose that little bit of weight that you've been carrying. Any of those things that you've been putting off. Because remember when you said, I'm going to do that when I have more time? If
Yes,
you can't do
just
it
go back to
now, you're never going to do it.
absolutely. Thank you. Perfect. Luxo,
Welcome.
last message from you.
Thank you. So we've all got a choice, guys. This isn't something we haven't got total no control over. Okay, COVID is
No,
COVID. But what you've got now, the luxury of choice. Those people that are in a hospital room on a ventilator have got no choice. Make the
no.
right choices for yourself every single day. See every day as a new day to make what will I do differently today. You've got the power of that choice.
Exactly. Brilliant. Thank you. And from me, it's like my daily walk, enjoying my own company, and also no makeup, natural, and really just finding yourself and finding that more time for your family and your loved ones. And thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully, you know, we'll get you back on again. But thank you so much. And Vaigu Ji Ka
Thank you.
Khalsa, Vaigu Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you so much.